we have to create that energy and that dynamic. And because we can't feel each other's energy, it's kind of difficult to do that. But nonetheless, I feel like we definitely have created a great energy. Um, and kind of talking about the themes in this play. And I think that's something I'm grateful for, and I hope can happen in the future with plays in person or not or whatnot.
Yeah, I think what's been super interesting about this process is it's felt like a month and a half long table work session, and I mean that in the best way, that there has just been this ability to like, we've completely taken out the notion of like blocking, of like the real life aspects of this, which would have been blocking, kind of working around a set, does holding for lights and sound, and which we're kind of doing now, partially with through OBS. But what I really enjoyed about this process is that it's just given us the time to really look at the language and kind of do a group, like everything you would kind of take home and try to do yourself, like really delving into the language. We've just been able to take all that time in here, and focus on that, because without, like Tristan had mentioned, there's not that energy flow kind of going, that in the in-person kind. So there's much more need to rely on our language, in communicating with each other, in telling this story that will be heightened by animation and the production elements that we do have in this. But it's interesting because we're not going to be able to compare how this production is and what it would have been if this were normal circumstances, because I feel like what we've created has been so unique to the circumstances, to the world that we're in now. And I think with what we did in this world, um, was very unique and very fun to explore.
I have another prompting question for people who haven't gotten the chance to speak yet. If you want to speak on this, how has your opinion of the play or of Zoom theater in general changed from the beginning of the process to now? So yeah, kind of two different questions. Yeah, Noah.
So at first, I was very skeptical of Zoom theater because it's so, like, obviously the fundamentals are the same, but physically it's so different. But with this show in particular, with the whole show within a show, I feel like with the whole animation and with the Zoom, it actually worked out a lot better than I could have ever thought it would have, because of this whole dynamic that we have going on with that.
I knew this going in that it was going to be a heavily based ensemble show. And my biggest fear was, since we weren't in the room with each other, that feeling of an ensemble was going to be lost. Um, but constraints of the medium, and we all knew the constraints of the medium going in. We all were working twice as hard to make sure that we were all very open in communication and open into trying new things and experimenting with things throughout the process and throughout the table work, that we do feel like an ensemble, even if we are over Zoom, which is something that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, for me, I totally, not to piggyback of what they just said, I totally agree. I was kind of skeptical doing a play over Zoom, but I wasn't, I guess, that paranoid about it because I had seen like Men on Boats, for example, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that worked out well, so I'm pretty sure that we should also be able to work something out in terms like surrounding our show. So even myself, like I may not understand every like aspect or like how they're setting everything up, but I'm really excited to see how like everything like plays out and like the whole like process just in general. Um, but yeah.
And then one more little question, and then we can get back to doing good actor stuff. What, if you want to say, has been the most enjoyable part of this process so far, and what has been the most challenging for you?
For me, the first thing I thought of, it feels like the best and worst kind of are mixed together in this process. Like Lexi said, this is a heavily based ensemble show, and that required us to kind of quickly be like, okay, I trust you to like do this or to say this or that. Like, you know, I can trust the all of you, and you know, if something with this very sensitive material, that we'll take care of each other. Um, and what my favorite part was about this is I thought that it was going to be very awkward kind of process to get into that, because they're, you know, physically, um, I don't know. There's just always like in physical rehearsals, there are always warm ups and activities and things done to kind of build up that rapport and build up to that. And we just kind of had to dive in. So I think my favorite part was just seeing how bravely how fearlessly everyone kind of like jumped in, and then how carefully we examined the material for each other. And I also think that was the most difficult part, is because it